So it turns out my 15-year-old nephew is struggling in school the last few months. He's not really trying. His friends are not the best influence on him. It's being very disruptive. And it reminded me a lot of me in high school. I was very quiet, didn't really try much, was just getting by. And I didn't have anybody there to really guide me or point me in the right direction. My parents tried their best, but there was always much just more punishment than actual advice. So in this video, I'm just talking to my younger self, something I wish people would have told me. Who knows where my life could have been had I realized this stuff earlier. So that's what this video is going to be about. The first thing I would actually tell myself is, don't worry about fitting in. I was always so worried that I wasn't popular. That was desperately the main thing I focused on is why am I not popular? How do I become friends with the popular kids? What can I do to stand out? And because of this, I was never social. I was always so in my head about what can I say that would make me cool. I don't want to say the wrong thing. I don't want to look weird. I don't want to be an outcast. So I would never speak up. There was a few times I remember people would say, "Oh, I like how funny you are when you're drinking," because that was the only time I would really let loose, is when I was inebriated and didn't really think about it. So I was always so focused on just never being myself. I wanted to be somebody else because I thought that's what it would take to fit in. I would buy name brand clothes, thinking that would make me cool. Had the Nikes, the Tommy Hilfiger. And when that didn't work, then I started to think it was my fault, that there was something wrong with me. If I have these clothes and I'm still not getting invited to these events, why? There must be something wrong with me. It's obviously not the clothes, so that would have helped me a lot growing up. It would have helped me in my 20s, my 30s. I didn't really learn any of this stuff till I was 35, after I got divorced. So knowing that you don't have to fit in, people appreciate being authentic. They don't want you to be exactly like them. People want you to be unique. Otherwise, it gets boring and you're just like everybody else. So don't worry about fitting in so much. Find your voice. People will like you, and if they don't, then there are other people out there that will. You're in a small town. You're not going to resonate with everybody. Don't focus on the negatives and focusing on what you could do to be more different than who you are. Just be yourself. Which goes into, don't be defined by what others tell you. Growing up, I was told that I was the quiet kid. I was told that I was kind of an outcast. And I just believed that. I believed that because my dad was quiet, or because people tell me I'm quiet, I have to be quiet. And I mean, why is that? Just because people tell me that? The main reason I was quiet was because I was so worried about what other people thought of me. I wouldn't express myself. If I learned to do that, who knows what would have happened? I would have probably more friends, more girlfriends, more successful at a younger age. It's hard to say, but I would have felt better about myself, I'm sure. So don't let people define you by what their opinion is. I was told I was low confidence, probably because I didn't talk. I didn't really take care of myself. But no one ever told me confidence is developed over time. People aren't just born confident. I would look at the popular kids and be like, oh, wow, they're very confident. They must just be born that way. Something must be wrong with me. But it's because they've had positive reference experiences their whole life. They've been told at an early age they were good at things, or they tried and failed, but then tried again and succeeded. So they didn't let that limiting belief hold them back, which is something I always did, something I struggle with for years, probably something I still have some tendencies to revert back to. But if I had somebody, maybe an older brother, a mentor, I don't know, a parent that kind of reinforced this stuff for me, I think it would have been very helpful. So younger Johnny, don't let people define you by their opinion. You know how you should be. You're a good kid. Another thing that goes along with the confidence is I had no idea what I was actually capable of doing. I limited myself because of low confidence. I didn't try very hard. I didn't think I was ever capable of much. So if you know you're not capable of anything, why would you put forth a bunch of effort? I didn't try very hard, and because I didn't think I was capable of anything. But had I been putting in the right actions in my high school days, college days, military, marriage, had I been taking the right actions, learning to want to improve, who knows where I could be? I could be super successful. David Goggins talks about most people use about 40% of their potential, and I feel like that was me the whole time growing up. I didn't give any effort at all that I know I was capable of. I was always afraid to fail. I was always afraid I wouldn't be good enough anyways, or it wouldn't matter, so I didn't try. So I wish I would have known just that people do struggle. It's not easy for everybody. I kind of looked at it as, one thing for sure I remember clearly was I started saxophone in 6th grade. And I tried it for 2 weeks, and the instructor told me I wasn't doing it right. I don't know if the way he said it or what, but the way he said it, I just was like, okay, I guess this isn't for me. And I quit doing it. Didn't even try anymore. I just assumed if you're either born a musician or you're not. And it took me, I mean, honestly, I didn't even figure this out until 30s. But the reason that musicians become successful is because they obsess with it. They put in over, hundreds of thousands of hours or 10,000 hours. They just don't quit. They love doing it. It's their passion. It's not just something they're born with. Sure, many people have talent, but they also work on that talent. They're not just coasting by and not putting in the work. So if I would have known this stuff growing up, if I had somebody to kind of explain to me that, yes, people are talented, but that doesn't define everything. They still have to work. They still have to put in the effort. And you have plenty of talent yourself. You're just not utilizing what you have. You're hiding it behind, self-doubt, low confidence. So that's something absolutely I could have worked on. Another thing that I really struggled with growing up was validation. I always wanted to fit in, being the popular kid. But that was because I wanted girls to like me. I never felt attractive. I never felt like girls would want to be with me. I mean, I can kind of see why. I was the quiet kid who didn't really express himself. My style back then was wearing tie-dye t-shirts, not combing my hair, not taking care of myself at all. Very much low effort. So, of course I wasn't going to be highly sought after. I thought it made me cool because I stood out. I was different than the popular kids. But now, looking back, after I've gone through the divorce, I learned about how to improve my style, how to be more attractive as a man. These are all things I could have been doing in high school. I could have been dressing better. I could have been taking care of myself. I could have got rid of the glasses. I could have, just dressed nicer and I would have felt more confident about myself. When I was going out of the house with a tie-dye shirt, I remember sitting in school and remember in class feeling like people were staring at me. And I don't like attention, but I did want attention because I didn't fit in. So it felt very awkward and I didn't feel like it was me, but I kept going with it because I didn't know what else to do. I didn't know that I could improve my style. I didn't know I could improve as a man. I just assumed I was the way I was. Some people have it, some people don't. I'm gonna be stuck just being a less than mediocre kind of guy, and you get what you get. So if I would have known this in high school, I would have dressed better. I wouldn't have been dressing like a hippie. I didn't want to be a hippie. I just wanted to fit in. I didn't like wearing the tie-dye shirts. I did it anyways because my friends were doing it. I thought they were kind of cool. But looking back, I mean, I don't know even where these people are nowadays. They're probably in jail or still smoking weed. There's one time, the people I was hanging out with, we were just hanging out at the house, and we got on the topic of smoking weed. And they talked about how they would smoke weed forever no matter what. And even in high school, like, we're just dumb kids. You can't take them at face value. But I'm sitting there thinking, like, I don't want to smoke weed my whole life. This is fun, but I don't want to do this forever. But I still hung out with them, and then every day I was smoking weed. And every day I wasn't really trying or progressing. So I needed to get out of that pattern of realizing that I was capable of more, but I wasn't taking any of the actions. I knew I didn't want to be a hippie. I knew I wanted to do more things, but I didn't. I just stayed in my small town for a few years after high school, not doing anything. Thank God I got arrested. I was involved with, I guess I don't really tell anybody this, but I was involved with breaking into a house. I didn't want to go in. I didn't want to go with, but because I wanted to fit in so badly, I decided it'd be fine. What's the worst that's going to happen? And we got caught, and I got arrested for it, which I'm grateful for. I definitely deserved it. I felt very guilty the whole time doing it. I did a lot of things that went against myself, and I knew it too, but I was so desperate for validation and to fit in that I assumed it was worth it. So, end up getting arrested. Luckily, my parents were there. They helped me with legal stuff. We got it approved that if I went into the Air Force, I could get off probation. And thank God for that. The Air Force really changed my life. It got me out of my small town, got me away from those bad influences, taught me discipline, made me a better man. And I felt proud of serving my country. Had I stayed in that small town with those same people, I have no idea what I would have turned out to be. I didn't have anybody to give me any of these pointers. So, younger Johnny, thank God you left your town. Thank God you joined the Air Force. You're capable of so much more. This also brings me to the point of just leaving your small town in general. I never had any big plans of moving out. I didn't know what I was going to do. I knew I wasn't great in school because I wasn't trying. I was always told I was smart. I always felt I was smart. And maybe I thought I was so smart I didn't need to try in school, but I didn't. I barely graduated high school because it wasn't important to me. And then before I went into the Air Force, I had no clear goals. I was just working some dead-end job. I always thought I was capable of more, but if I'm not putting in the actions, then you're going to get what you get. You're going to stay in your small, shitty town. Now that I've been traveling and I've seen a lot of the world, it's absolutely clear that traveling has made me a better man. Moving out of my hometown made me a better man. It made me a different person, got me to experience new things, rely more on myself, build some confidence. You have no choice but to build confidence because you're relying on yourself. You realize what you're capable of. You can do great things if you put your mind to it and you don't listen to what others tell you. Most people they're trying to do their best. They want to be protective of you, but they don't know. They're going to tell you places are dangerous, that you shouldn't go there. They're going to tell you you're probably making a mistake, but you'll figure it out. You're a smart guy. You can handle way more than you think. So get out of the small town faster. Set goals. Yeah, another thing, set goals. As sad as it is, I didn't even start setting goals till I was 35. I just coasted by, drifted through life, didn't think I was capable of anything. I was just average. Everybody who was successful just had something I didn't. But had I been setting goals in high school or younger, who knows maybe I would have started a company earlier. Maybe I would have moved to France. Who knows what. I could have actually visualized and thought about what I wanted. I didn't need to just drift, smoke weed every day, just coast through life, assuming that everything was going to be fine. I don't have anything to look forward to. I'm just going to be in Wisconsin forever. Had I set some goals early on, it's hard to say where I'd be, but I don't know. I can't imagine it would, I just have to imagine I'd be even farther along. I'm grateful for everything that's happened in my life. I mean, it all made me the man I am today. But just looking back, had I known these things in high school, I wouldn't have had to deal with low confidence and self-esteem issues for a majority of my life. I'm only be 42 this year. I've only been really working on this stuff for 7 years. I mean, that's most of my life I've been having issues with that. So just, Johnny, you can do it. Something else I would tell myself when I'm in high school is start focusing on your health, your nutrition, going to the gym. You always felt like you weren't good enough, you weren't strong enough, you couldn't fit in. And a lot of that is because you didn't take care of yourself. You didn't dress well, you didn't eat properly. Now that I know what I know, which has only honestly been the last couple years, and I still struggle with eating poor foods, which is why it would have been good to deal with this back then instead of now, figuring this out. But sugar is terrible for your brain. These healthy foods do have an effect on you. They're very addictive, so you don't really realize it at the time. You just kind of eat it and think, okay, well, what's the big deal? It's just food. But when you start cleansing yourself off of it, you do realize just how much guilt I would feel when I would eat sugar. I would feel bad about myself. I felt like I think it adds to depression. I knew I wasn't living up to the best standards. I'm not eating high quality foods. My diet consisted of Mountain Dew, Reese's and M&Ms for breakfast, fast food for lunch, fast food for dinner, ice cream for dessert. I just gained a bunch of weight, so that's not gonna make me feel good about myself. In high school, it was basically the same. Didn't really eat anything but garbage foods. Didn't go to the gym because I didn't think I could do it, I guess. I thought I had to be an athlete to be strong and improve myself. But that's not the case. You can just do what you can at the gym. A bad day at the gym is better than no day at the gym. Over time, your body's gonna get stronger, you're gonna build muscle, you're gonna feel good about yourself, you're gonna look even more attractive. The skinnier version of me is way more attractive than the heavier version of me, in my opinion. And I feel better about myself. I wish I would have been dealing with this stuff when I was in high school. The dating life I could have had in my 20s had I been taking care of myself and having more confidence, who knows what happened. But it's something you can do. You don't have to be an athlete to go to the gym. You don't have to be super special to get into good shape. And just start small with your diet. I know you don't like eating exotic foods, but just find foods that you do like that are whole foods that are good for you. Just try to stay away from as much bad sugar as you can. It'll make you feel better about yourself. Maybe then you won't be so focused on needing to fit in and worrying about what to say, because you'll feel good about yourself. You'll know you can handle things. So if people think you're still weird, whatever. That was my main issue. I just wouldn't talk because I didn't want to look weird. And I didn't have confidence, where if maybe I worked out, I would have had a whole different high school experience. Those are just what I've been thinking of the last couple days. I know he's been struggling in high school, very reminiscent of me. There's a book called The 4 Agreements that I read, I don't know, like 10 times now, but when I first read it 10 years ago, it talks about how when you're under the age of 5, you're pretty much free. You're not worried about what people think. You're very much yourself. But that around the age of 5, you become domesticated. People start defining your reality. For me, it was telling me I was quiet, I was shy, I was just a good kid, nothing real special about me. And I remember when my nephew was under 5, he'd be dancing around, he'd sing in the car, he'd do, whatever he wanted, he was free. And now that he's older, domesticated, he's very much like me. Hey, puppy. He's very much like me. He doesn't talk a lot, doesn't express himself. He'll keep to himself. He doesn't express himself. And I think that was because of being domesticated. He's defined by what people told him, or just doesn't want to get rejected, which is a big issue for me. So that's all I got for today. Let me know what you guys have gone through. Maybe you guys have some similar issues. Maybe you guys had mentors growing up and your life is completely different. I would be interested to hear those stories. If you guys are struggling with any sort of dating issues, let me know. That was a big reason for me wanting to be popular, is because I wanted to be attractive to women. I never felt good enough for that. I struggled for many, many years, still struggle with that a little bit. Always wanting validation, always wanting pretty girls to like me. But if you're struggling with any of that, I can help you with some online dating. I'll link that description for the free online dating course. They'll go over everything you need. But yeah, even if you get the online dating, like for me, once I got out of the marriage, I still needed to improve it as a man. So that's mostly what I'm trying to do with these videos, trying to give you guys value, trying to go over what worked for me. If any of you guys struggle with the same things, just know it is possible. You just gotta reflect. And I guess for me, it was just having somebody point out the stuff. It seems very obvious now to me, but for the longest time, I either ignored it or it just didn't click. And yeah, that's that's just the way it was. So, all right, well, I will see you guys tomorrow. It's beautiful out here in Minneapolis. Enjoy your Monday, and we'll see you next time.